Hey guys, happy Saturday. Thanks for stopping by for another video here at ALliseeisW. In today's video, we'll be doing a deep dive on Ethereum as well as deep dive on Bitmine Immersion Technology, ticker BMNR, led by Chairman Tom Lee. In fact, I'll be playing an epic video clip of Tom Lee at the end of the video, so you don't want to miss that. Now, if you're new to this channel, first off, so thrilled that you're here. I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Okay, guys, we'll go through latest updates with ETH as well as BMNR, as well as me sharing technical analysis, price predictions, how high I think Ethereum can go, as well as BMNR. Let's get started, guys. Let's first off take a look at this post from Crypto General. He said, I just opened a 5 million long on Ethereum. I am all in on this trade. If I get liquidated, I will lose everything. But you know what? I am so confident. It's the last time in history that we see ETH at this price, expecting a massive leg up next week. So he's very bullish. He's taking a big hedge towards ETH because he believes, ETH is going to be going up. Ash Crypto posts Tom Lee suggests ETH could reach 12 to 15,000 by end of 2025. That tells you something. We're still early right now. That means Ethereum can easily just, 2 to 3x from where we currently are by end of 2025. Merlin, the trader, posts, Bitcoin 2020 versus Ethereum 2025. The fractal is undeniable. Both broke the point 618 Fibonacci, both consolidating before liftoff. Bitcoin went 300% from this exact spot. If you're fading ETH now, you're fading the most bullish fractal in crypto. Don't sleep on this setup that defines cycles. So when you compare Bitcoin, back in 2021 before it broke out significantly, ETH is in that similar trajectory right now where we currently are, hovering at like 4,300. Can it just break out to 12 to 15,000? Like what Tom Lee is forecasting. So very bullish. I think there's so much upside, especially with inflows in ETFs right now. Bitmine BMNR post is according to Wicon Crypto, the bigger the base, the bigger the breakout. Ethereum, Tom Lee, Fundstrat, gentleman and scholar, is chairman of BMNR. So definitely just, very bullish as far as looking at the slides that, Tom Lee presented last week. The bigger the base, the bigger the breakout. So what does this mean? I mean, at one point, early in 2025, we saw like huge capitulation with Ethereum at 1,300. I don't think we'll see those levels anymore, but now it's only a matter of time until we break out. Again, when you put it into perspective, 2021, I mean, it got to like that all-time high. It was just recently when we peaked close to that level, but where we are right now, we're not even, at that level of all-time high, like, back in 2021. So that tells you something. We're still early in this game. There's so much, bullish upside right now. Bitcoin Knight posts about BMNR. He says BMNR has won the ETH Treasury race by a mile. This was already clear a couple of weeks back, and the gap widens every week. Tom Lee, the GOAT from Fundstrat. I expect they will report over 2 million ETH next week before any other company can even get to 1 million. Tom Lee has smartly run his ATM program, selling high and buying ETH cheap. I really don't see another company catching up to this ETH stack now. Pretty clear that BMNR will be the MSTR of ETH. Many other indications in the way the stock trades strong and consistent high volume. Big investors all indicate this is the horse to ride. So, which horse are you on? Are you on BMNR? Are you on ETH? Are you on SBET? Are you on all three? Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear what your predictions are. Fallen Knight posts BMNR was the most heavily bought stock during the week of September 5th, and all three of Cathie Wood's ARK funds. She knows something we don't. Benefit of being a pipe investor, purchase the relationship. So when you look at just the movement with ARK Investment, so they have like three different accounts, and obviously you see BMNR being purchased by a significant amount. BMNR, just huge amounts that Cathie Wood is just buying, especially on the beginning of September. We're seeing treasury companies taking dips. BMNR just going down. I took advantage in the week of September, just continuing to buy lower, as Bitmine immersion stock continues to go down. I believe in the use case, just continue to dollar cost average if you have the ability to do so. If not, just remain bullish, hodl, because selling right now will just be frustrating when, the price goes up. BMNR Bulls post is Cathie Wood and ARK Invest hold over 267 million of tomlee's Fundstrat BMNR across three ETFs. So you see the three different ETFs. That's very bullish. I think a lot of people like the use case of BMNR, which is why ARK Investment would like to add BMNR as part of the innovation AI, ETFs that they are managing right now. So definitely, huge use case right now. Cathie Woods follows the money. She knows Tom Lee, is a trusted leader, and that's why we BM&R. Crypto news and analytics post is just with the recent crypto purchases by public companies. So, just taking a look at just the trends that we're seeing. BM&R with $657 million purchase, even higher than MSTR, with 4,000 Bitcoin. So BM&R continues to stack. We also see like SBET, with 167 million ETH purchase, but BM&R, they continue to aggressively buy, and soon enough, they may be over 2 million ETH on their balance sheet. The feature is now posted. BMNR is currently not staking any ETH. They have 2 million ETH. If they stop here, stop the ATM and let the stock run, they will command a higher MNAV because yield income at a 25-30x multiple is not priced in. At a 2.7% staking yield on 2 million ETH, annual yield 54,000 ETH equates to 54 million. 13,500 ETH per quarter, 4,500 ETH per month, 148 ETH per day. That's $1.5 million. At a 90% profit margin, that's 48,600 ETH, which equates to 486 million per year. Value of cash flow at 30x, that's 486 million times 30, which is $14.6 billion. So think $200 per share of BMNR. I really believe that when you think about, MSTR in terms of how they've grown from a small cap company to now like a triple digit stock price company, hundreds of billions market cap. Well, BMNR is doing the same. They're aggressively buying ETH, and that allows for them to, be accretive over time. And eventually we will be in the triple digits, which BMNR did hit recently. Urkel posts BMNR, another picture perfect hold right where I discussed yesterday, constructive. So, right before that, that run up, the mini run up, I would call, they had a bigger run up when they, announced that they're pivoting from becoming a Bitcoin mining company to an ETH treasury company. That was like when the price went to 170. What we're seeing, are we going to see a similar trajectory where we see the launch pad take place with BMNR launching to new levels from here on out? Let's talk about technical analysis of Ethereum. So where we currently are is, ETH is hovering right at, I would say, 4,300 as of, Saturday morning. What we see just based on the, alpha trend indicator, we're still hovering in that buy signal, which is a good thing. We had, early, like mid-August to, late August, we had price, have some volatility where it got to like 4,800. It dipped down to 4,000. And right when Federal Reserve Jerome Powell announced, earnings cut coming, that's when the price just launched. We had that major green candle where it reached all-time high, had resistance at close to 5,000, and now it's just been consolidating at 4,300. I think this just creates a base for that next leg up. The key thing is we don't just want this to have like a one straight shot linear fashion. I think it's healthy to have this consolidation, and then we will see that U-shaped formation. Obviously just looking at the, the MACD formation, we see, red histograms, but I think because we've had continual histograms since August 18, we may have a reversal MACD bullish divergence kicking in where we'll see, market sentiment inflows coming in. I'm predicting somewhere around on a moderate scale, we're going to get somewhere around that 7,800 in the year 2025 is my prediction use case. So that basically is like, you know, um, 80% from where we are right now by end of year. So who knows? It may go higher. Who knows? It may go lower. But I think that's a moderate assessment from where I'm at. Let's take a look at BMNR technical analysis. So let's say ETH breaks out to 7,800 or even more, similar to what Tom Lee is saying, 12 to 15,000 by year end. Where will BMNR go? So, we're just looking at alpha trends indicators and CM William Vix technicals. I like using this because it tells us where the basement lows are, right? When things drop to the basement low, price will eventually pop back up. Now, when we look at the CM Williams VIX, we're seeing capitulation signals here where this is a basement low. Yes, this is on the 4-hour candle chart, but we're seeing, right when, Cathie Woods, bought yesterday, there is a CM Williams VIX, right when the market opened, we had like huge volatility. ARK Investment took advantage of that, just with capitulation and bought a ton load. I think that was at around like $39. So definitely huge buying opportunity. But you know what? Even if let's say you bought like in the range of like 50 or even higher, I wouldn't worry. Why? Because eventually we see this, bull flag drawn out, bull pennant flag drawn out, which I don't have the lines, but it's only going to be a matter of time where we're going to see this reversal pattern kick in. I think we're going to get somewhere around that 77, $88, consolidate there. But when you zoom out, you scale out, let's say you have the ability to hold, BMNR is going to be the MSTR of Ethereum. They're going to be in the triple digits. So with that, let's listen to Tom Lee's video.
Ethereum, has probably become a surprising sort of hit for cryptocurrencies this year because it's up 28%, outperforming Bitcoin. But in some of the work we've done, we believe it's the biggest macro trade over the next 10 to 15 years, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that stable coins have really become the chat GPT moment for crypto. And now we have the Genius Act and Project Crypto from the SEC, which is Wall Street essentially running onto the blockchain. But one of the best ways we believe to sort of have exposures through Ethereum treasuries, and that's a company like Bitmine, which I've become chairman recently.
Why are you so bullish on Ethereum? What are the opportunities you're seeing in Ethereum in particular?
Well, Ethereum is the second largest blockchain, and it's different than Bitcoin because with Bitcoin, you can't really do programmable contracts, so smart contracts. Wall Street needs to find a stable and legally compliant blockchain to work on. The majority of stablecoin creations are taking place on Ethereum. And when you look at where JP Morgan is building a lot of its layer twos or Coinbase or Robinhood, they're choosing to do it on Ethereum. So it is the place where Wall Street is essentially financializing the system.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode where we covered latest updates with ETH, BMNR, as well as doing, technical analysis predictions. So if you enjoyed this content, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Thanks, guys.